Hola, buenos días, soy Nico.
Do I look to you, Captain?
No, Princess.
And today we're starting off another wonderful week's worth of content. This is my third time sitting down doing this intro because every time I start, a siren goes off. A siren goes off, it stops, I start the video again, and another siren goes off. There has been no sirens the entire day. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I have a lot to complain about New York City, including this heat. This heat, Jesus be a raindrop. When I said I was tired of blistering cold, I did not mean turn the oven on. I did not mean that. So, now that we've gotten out of the way, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive videos, weekly live streams, be a part of the live streams, or multifaceted conversations with a fairy panel depending on the week. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in. Nico, I'm so sorry. This is like my third time doing this. I'm getting kind of annoyed with it. But at the same time, I apologize for no Nico's quick chat this Monday, but that was because I was on a train back from Boston because I was hosting Frolic and doing a sex worker panel where we discussed sex work and tried to destigmatize the career and also gave a more personal look into the field via 4 different performers. The footage should be sent to me soon. So I will be able to upload that if you want that to be one of the Nico quick chats and you like to sit down and have a conversation with some of your favorite adult performers, definitely tune in for that. But now that we've gotten out of the way, last video's comment. In response to Austin Wolf pleading guilty, that they were surprised that he was so open with liking children. No, because they tried to word it like illegally young adults. No, he was liking children. And the people that were in my comments saying, oh, y'all can't believe this, or oh, I'm glad he pled guilty because he'll be able to come back to the streets, we'll have our favorite zaddy. There were videos of small children of the age of 10 and infants. This is not something to joke about. This is not something to key about. That man is a monster. And since he pled guilty, he will be facing a minimum of 10 years and a maximum of life in prison where he belongs. An infant. I am so tired of gay politics where it's like, oh, you're hot. Let me just excuse anything you do. You people need help. People that think that way need help. Probably an institution of some sort, but help to some degree. Now that we've gotten out of the way, let's get on to the actual video. Today we're going to be talking about Malik Joseph again. Nico, I know this is the most shine he's gotten in a long time, but it is because both Knockout and Fat Rabbit Killer have responded. So first I'll break down Knockout's response and I'll get to Fat Rabbit Killer, and in between I'll enter the videos of them talking. Just know that for some reason Knockout decided to sit in front of his blaring TV while he was doing this video, so there was a loud amount of audio in the background. I cannot change that. My editing skills, as y'all know, I know Jacoby likes to say that I can edit audio, babe. I can't do that. So at this point, I'll play it after I give you a brief synopsis, but Knockout basically came and said, no, the reason we had an issue is still the same. My story has never changed. When I originally got into it with you, it was because we did a collaboration. If y'all want to go watch that, you can, but he didn't really perform. He likes to say that he is a verse top, but Malik is a preferred bottom, and when he is, he's usually a pillow princess. If you go and look at his footage, I've personally never been wowed by Malik Joseph. I'm not going to pretend like I've seen the Knockout video, but I've seen some of his content, and it wasn't necessarily groundbreaking performance-wise. And I can say that because I can admit, when I bottom on film, I am not groundbreaking. Nico, when I come online and say, girl, I don't bottom. I'm not a bottom. I am not a good bottom. People are always like, but you're not a good bottom. And I'm like, bitch, I said it before you did. Like, what are you talking about? But basically in this scenario, he was saying my story hasn't changed. I'm used to working with professionals, aka studio performers, who know that when you come for a scene, you collaborate, you go home, you get your money. Since this is OnlyFans, it is a lot more personal. Basically, he said the reason I went out with you to the club was because you were begging me to, but the real fallout was when you continuously pursued me in a romantic manner, and I said no, so you me. You got me right in the arm, and I'm not going to sit up here and say it didn't happen. So I don't know what your beef is with me, because personally, the collaboration wasn't necessarily that great. It was very okay, but you were the problem in this dynamic.
Hey yo, what's up? So I just saw the allegations about what Malik was saying about me, and it's completely false. The only thing that's true is that it was a terrible, terrible experience to hang out with him. The scene we did was okay in my book. Did he perform? No. He didn't perform well. I did all the performing. You know what I mean? He tries to give this illusion that he's a verse top or whatever the fuck he's supposed to try to be, but he's definitely a bottom, and he doesn't want it shown on screen. But anyways, like I said, he stabbed me. I hit the bitch because he got jealous. He got jealous because I don't want to be with you after we did the scene. So that's why I don't hang out with content creators, only fans people. You know what I mean? Because studio porn stars are completely different. We are completely professional. So you got one thing right about that. But after that, you kind of got attached. I didn't like you like that. Didn't want to be with you. Didn't want to exchange numbers. And the only reason why I went out with you is because you begged me to. Talking about show me around Las Vegas while I'm here. You feel what I'm saying? So you completely made that story up. You just got out of jail 2 weeks ago. You need to focus on probation. You need to focus on paying your restitution. You need to focus on why you can't take a cruise. But leave my name out the mix. Period.
Now, as you saw, Knockout has had a few situations where he's been like dramatic in the media, but so far he hasn't lied. Like, he has had a lot of scenarios, such as the situation when him being charged with kidnapping, which those charges were dropped. Originally, I was going to do an update on that because he DM'd me and he said, hey, those charges were dropped. Can you update that story or give me an interview? And I said, yeah, I can give you an interview, no problem. Whenever you're free, just let me know and I can set it up. Like, I'll clear up my schedule. And then he said, but are you going to pay me for the interview? And I said, you literally came up to me and asked me for an interview to clear this up. Why would I pay you? And he said, oh, right. And then it never happened. But point is, he said those charges were dropped. He did get into Fame and Kyle Levine basically when they both tried to deny bottoming for him, but he did in fact top them. I understand he's using bottom as a slur, but he did in fact top them. So in these situations, Knockout has had like drama, but he hasn't been shown to be a liar. So if multiple people have had violent encounters with Malik Joseph, which are on film, which were on film and on tape, on the tweets, I screenshot everything because y'all know I don't alter stuff. I'm going to believe the majority who have had bad experiences with him. That's just my personal, beliefs. So when Fat Rabbit Killer decided to respond, it was a key because we follow each other. Like I tell you, I looked at his story and I was just sitting there like, oh my God. Because it basically showed how Malik Joseph was the one that was energetic and excited to work with him. Though he said in the text messages that he is a more passionate person and not trying to get slutted out, Fat Rabbit Killer said, are you coming or not? Like, looking at those exchanges, he was dry as hell. And it's funny because since I know Fat Rabbit Killer, I've texted him before. He's not that dry with me. So I'm just sitting here like, girl, you was getting on this man's nerves. Because even after the collaboration, if he was so ugly, if he was so hideous, if he was so smelly and stinky, why was Malik Joseph then asking him, hey, could you post this picture with your PP on my shoulder so I can get some traction, some clout? Can you tag me? Hey, can you retweet my tweet? Hey, can you post this? Hey, can you? So basically trying to use him for clout. And Fat Rabbit Killer was basically being dry with him saying, no, the collaboration is over. And why would I continuously do this for you? So Malik Joseph literally got aired out for being a bitter Betty that once the collaboration was done, once people continuously see how harmful and rude he is, they no longer want anything to do with him. Because after Fat Rabbit Killer exposed him in the DMs, which I will have to mute because he's playing I Don't F With You by Big Sean, he basically called Malik Joseph and recorded it. Nico, he pressed him. He pressed him, and Malik Joseph was, he was footing. He was, what do you call it? He was meow footing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you had a lot of say online, so what's up? I said you had a lot of say online, so what's up?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm on that. You had a lot of to say online, so what's up?
So you blowing up my phone because of what?
Yes, I'm blowing up your phone because you're a bitch ass nigga, so what's up? You had a lot to say online, so
okay,
speak your mind. Speak your mind. You had a lot to say online, so speak your mind. No. Speak your line. Speak your mind, bro. Speak your mind. Don't be no right now. Don't be no right now. Oh, you ain't got to say right now.
Purr. He hung up that phone and tried to go back to sleep. But what was said by Knockout at the end really resonated for me in this situation. Girl, you just got out of jail 2 weeks ago. You need to be focusing on parole. You need to be focusing on getting a job. You need to be focusing on actually getting your money up and, working to rebuild rather than shaming and trying to lie and attack people online for click and views. Because at the end of the day, as a performer, if you are trying to promote your OnlyFans, if you're trying to market your content, you continuously attacking, exposing, and lying on the performers that you have collaborated with will then lead you into a situation where nobody wants to work with you. Because one thing that can be said about me, I talk about what people put online. I talk about it if there's proof. I talk about it if there's receipts. And at the end of the day, any performer I've ran into has not had any form of beef with me. Leak, if everybody you're collaborating with is going, oh, I'd never do that again. And then everybody that you want to work with is like, you have a bad reputation. It's not going to be good for your money in the long run. But with that being said, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all. How do y'all feel about the situation now that Knockout and Fat Rabbit Killer have both brought receipts basically saying Malik Joseph wasn't saying all this directly after the collab? He was still up in our faces. He was still trying to get close to us, trying to work together, trying to build a deeper bond. And we said, no, this is just work. I don't want anything to do with you. And he crashed out. But with that being said, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all and I'll see you guys next time. Boom. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, some of my OGs, Plain Speechless and Ashton DB. Thank you for your continued support and thank you to everyone who watches the channel. We just hit 45K girlies. And this week's live stream will be over. Be who you are for your pride. Just know that's not how I actually sing. But it will be a pre-New York City Pride live stream, so I will see you guys there.